listening to the Pan A Pan podcast, or PEP podcast, if that's easier. It is.
It is.
So we'll just go with that. Today, it is bucket list places where we'd like to go. But before we get to that, Amy, what are we imbibing today?
We're doing, since we're not talking about a specific country, like in particular, we're doing a whiskey and Coke. And I also just got lazy, and it was just easy to make a whiskey and Coke today. So
You cannot go wrong with a whiskey and Coke.
nope, it's a concert drink.
It is a concert drink. It's a, why not? I've had everything I want to have so far. Let's just do this kind of thing. And it's a no-brainer.
Mm-hmm.
You don't have to think about it. Maybe you'll get like a Jameson and Coke, or maybe you'll get something
Maker's Mark.
Makers, if you want to get fancy, but here they're not sponsoring it, but we'll say it's Jack Daniels,
and it's the airplane bottles.
It's the airplane bottles, and you know what? Yum.
What are your thoughts on whiskey ginger ales?
I like them.
I do too.
Yeah, I am a fan. So I'm also a blended whiskey guy. I am actually a member of the Society of the Crown for Crown Royal.
Oh.
I used to get my own labels made. So whenever I buy the bottle, I would put my own label on it, and it would say Timothy G. Beeman II, music, the rhythm of life.
Wait a minute. Hold on. Speaking of crowns and stuff, I'm assuming you've been to London.
I have.
Did you get lorded?
No.
Okay.
No.
Darn. Okay.
I think more like Lord when I walk by, but
Your wife.
yeah,
Right.
Yo, Lord. But no. Yeah, London was part of the honeymoon trip, which we'll talk about at another time. But yeah, so bucket lists. So where you don't have to say the number one.
Mm-hmm.
But when I do mine, because I have 17 on my list, but only one is the place that I want to go, and I can only half explain why.
Oh.
You'll find out when we get to mine.
Okay.
So let's go with you. You said top three,
Mm-hmm.
so let's just someplace that you would like to go that you've not been.
Yeah, I would in the near future, Prague.
Prague is actually number 2 on my list.
Shut up.
Yeah.
Okay. See, and the thing is, I know it's kind of a party, like a bachelor party area. However, the architecture is insane, and in the snow it'd be even better.
There's so much history.
See, and I don't know much about the history, and that I know it's there. I know it's like one of the only cities that didn't get did it get destroyed in World War?
I don't think so,
Okay.
but it was part of the Yugoslavia thing with Slovenia, Slovakia, Czechoslovakia, and all that stuff. So they broke up the Slavs, the Slavics, and the Czech, and now it's according to what you're talking about. It's either the Czech Republic or Czechia.
Yeah. And a
So-
lot of people still call it Czechoslovakia. Like
Yeah.
they don't really know it's changed. But
Yeah.
the orange roofs and like the bridge, like it just seems like it'd be a great morning walk to the bridge with a coffee.
Yeah.
With a to-go coffee because they have Starbucks there. I've looked. And so
I would stay far away from the Starbucks, only because if I'm going to a place like that, I know they have their own little tiny shops.
But to-go coffees though.
You know what? Go to a Starbucks and buy you one of those tumblers, and then go to the other. Say, how much to fill this up?
Honestly, that just seems like $20 for a tumbler versus like a $5 to-go coffee. I don't know, Tim. I don't know.
But the coffee would be so much better.
Probably. But it's the walk with the coffee that we're focused on.
Yes, you're right. Yeah,
walk to the bridge.
I'm totally, but I'm the food guy, right? So
Yeah.
I'm going back to that. So yeah, Prague would, like I said, I have 16 things past my number 1, and these could be interchanged upon mood, but I think number 2 would always stay Prague.
Okay.
And I know for Stephanie, that's 1 or 2 on her list too.
Okay.
So that's doable.
I'm assuming Budapest is up there too.
It's not on here, but yes.
Okay.
Yeah, Budapest.
Sorry.
It's how it reads, Budapest.
Yeah.
But I had someone from Budapest actually correct me, so that's why I do that. I'm not being an a-hole. I'm just saying Budapest.
Yeah, it just seems like it's it's cheaper than Prague. It's a little cheaper than Prague.
And two totally different cities, but they consider themselves one.
I didn't know that.
It's Buda and Pest.
Oh, okay, yeah. I thought you meant Prague and Budapest.
Oh, no,
sorry.
no.
Because it's across the river, correct? Like the castle is one of them, and then
Yeah. So Buda is more of the upper end, and Pest is the other side. Yeah.
The Danube.
The Danube River, exactly.
It just seems
And
like
it's not blue. Don't let anybody tell you that.
from the Google, it looks kind of muddy, to be honest. Okay.
Yeah, it's like the sand. You don't want to be drinking anything out of that, or the Thames. You don't want to drink anything out of that either.
That's London, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, the only reason I know that is because back in the day when I was on Google Maps all the time, which I still am, but for my receptionist job where I had nothing to do but be on Google Maps, there was like a speedboat ride through the river that I was like, if I ever go to London, I'm going to just go on one of those like 45-minute speedboat rides, like do the most touristy thing there. Of course I would want to do that. But
Yeah, so like I said, Prague would be on mine. What's the next one on your list?
Crete.
Crete, okay. Yeah, so I don't have Greece on my list, but it doesn't mean that I won't want to go there. And like I said, I stopped at 17 because I was running out of space.
Right.
And these can go in any order, truly. There are others that I don't have on here that I would totally do it. And the most of mine, there are a couple of things that are not, but most of mine are countries and not specific cities. Prague was specific. Moscow, I'll go ahead and say it. And here's
not anytime soon.
Here's the caveat to this list, right? That we made this up. This is considering money is not an object. This is if you could do it and money was not an object. Social or political climate was not a factor.
Let's disclaimer.
Yeah, and they didn't hate Americans. So those are that would go along with number 2, really. But
Oh, that gives me clues. You want to go to a stand, don't you?
no.
Oh, okay.
But
okay,
I do. But
Okay.
it's not the one that I'm talking about. I
Dang
would
it.
love to go to a stand. Uzbekistan, Kazakhstan, both of those. Azerbaijan.
Yeah, I've heard.
I would love to do those. Turkey. I would love to go to Turkey, but right now I just don't trust it. Egypt. I would love to go see the pyramids of Giza, but I don't. Even though they are welcoming towards American, and Turkey is too, but you have to be careful where in Turkey.
I want to see a Nile crocodile.
Okay. Well,
That's my biggest draw to Egypt was the crocodile.
yeah, I want to see that.
I mean, the pyramids, obviously, and the camels,
Yeah,
but
and the Sphinx.
love cats. Oh my gosh. Maybe I should put Egypt on my list.
Yeah, it is. It's down a little bit, but yes, there. So where did you say the second one?
It was Crete.
Crete.
That, like, not Santorini, not Mykonos, Crete. There's a pink sand beach. It's just more of a beach getaway because there's sandier. Like, I don't know. It just looks like you can drive around easier. There's a lot to see.
Are you a beach person?
No,
Yeah, me either.
I burn.
I've seen pictures. You've shown all of you burnt up.
The last time I went to the beach, I went to Miami, but that actually worked out well. I was tan by the time I went to tan for me,
Yeah.
not saying much, freckled. But the first beach trip I had last year was with my parents, and I was on this antibiotic that the warning on the medication bottle said, avoid direct sunlight. I'm like, whatever. They have to say that. They were not kidding. I mean, it was awful. When I was in the sun, it felt like I was being stabbed with 1,000 knives. And so it happened really fast, and I was inside the RV for the rest of that beach camping trip. Like, it was not pretty, but yeah.
There was, I guess, no stone unturned on you that was not lobster red.
I hate it. I'm going to pay for that probably. Don't worry. I'll see a dermatologist regularly. It's fine. But you're not a beach person?
No,
either.
but Stephanie is.
Oh.
Yeah. And then the funny thing is I'm a water sign, but I hate water.
Oh.
Yeah.
Wait, hold on. I'm so stupid when it comes to zodiac
What
signs.
sign are you?
I'm a Gemini.
Okay, so I don't know what
Crazy. Apparently they have like a bad like.
Well, you're two-faced. Yeah, I mean that's
if the shoe fits.
Right. I mean that's the idea.
Yeah.
Is it's twins. I'm a Scorpio, and oddly enough, which I see Scorpios more as desert animals anyway, scorpions, but it's a water sign, and Pisces are water signs, and Cancers, because they're crabs, are water signs. She loves water. She loves being in water, around water. I like seeing water. I don't want to be in the water, and I don't really want to be on the water. If it's a riverboat cruise, I'm okay. I don't like cruise ships. I don't like the idea of it. I don't want to be on those.
It just seems like you're stuck, and you want to, like, the time you have on land is not enough.
Right. And you can't do anything because you're constantly, crap, I got to get back. I got to get it back. I got to get it back.
Yep.
And
it's just not, it's not how we would prefer it to. Now, I've been on a cruise before, and it was fun because of the people I was with, and it was I was 19, and it was my first like time out of the country.
And you can drink at 18 in international waters.
We didn't. I didn't know that. And I mean, I just didn't grow up around a lot about, so I, at that point in my life, hadn't ever, so I just didn't. But it was fun regardless. And so, but I don't think I would do it now unless I was with a bunch of friends that wanted to go. But I choose sparingly with my money. I choose where I travel sparingly, and
Exactly.
I can't afford to just go on a cruise and not go to Italy, you know? So.
Right. As the money that I would spend on something that I probably would only half enjoy, I could save up and do really, really good in where I want to go.
Exactly.
Because if I'm going to, like, especially those cruises that stop in like 9 places in the Caribbean, I would just as soon go to one of those 9 places. And that's it. And I have a friend who says, I just like the idea of unpacking once. And I'm like, what's this unpacking you're talking about? I live
Who uses the drawers?
I don't know what people put in those drawers.
No, I know.
I live out of my suitcase.
Same. Now, would you do a Viking like Norway?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. So if it was a riverboat like the Rhine or the Rhone or the Seine, all those
the
things.
fjords,
Yeah, because you're sitting, for one, you're basically on land, on water, right? So you can sit on the rooftop veranda and look at castles going by. If you're on the open seas, what do you see? Nothing but sea.
Yeah, maybe a dolphin.
Maybe a dolphin, yeah.
Maybe a fin.
Oh, okay, look at that. That's a lovely sunset.
Like,
What's next?
go to Myrtle Beach,
Yeah, exactly.
which I love Myrtle Beach.
Yeah,
I'm not gonna lie.
I've only been like 3 times ever in my life.
Wow.
I'm more of a Carolina Beach kind of guy, that laid back, less to do kind of thing.
I met my first love at Myrtle Beach.
Oh yeah?
No, not my first love. I met my first love I met my second love not really love. This is an exaggeration. He worked at a henna tattoo place on the boardwalk or on the boulevard, or like on the strip. And he was from Colombia. And we would speak in my limited Spanish, and it was 3 days of me going there, getting new henna tattoos every day, thinking we were going to get married. He added me on Facebook, and we're still Facebook friends, but he has a baby. Love you, Juan.
Do you have tattoos?
No.
Okay.
It was just henna tattoos.
Okay.
Yeah, no.
Oh, just painting on that lasts for like a week. And then
Yeah.
you're over. Okay.
But like, it was an excuse to go see him every night.
Sure.
I would like a new one, please. Oh, please, like, redo this one. It was great.
Do you want tattoos?
No.
Okay.
I'm too indecisive. I feel like I would regret it as soon as I did it.
Yeah. So I have 1.
Okay.
And Stephanie has 3. But she got them all within like 2 years. and they all mean something. And we'll talk about that in another time.
Okay.
But yeah, they all mean something. So that's and mine means something. Mine is my last name is Beeman, and my son is a third. So we've always called him 3B. So it's a 3 jammed into a B. I designed it myself, and someone else did it. So it meant something, because no matter what, I would never put, even as much as I love my wife, I would never put her name on me, because you never know what's going on with that.
Know.
But with my son, he will always be my son.
True.
So, yeah.
Unless, what if he became like Jeffrey Dahmer?
Well, he's still going to be my son. I will love him whether I love what he does or not.
We will have an episode on what it would take for Tim to no longer love his son.
Yeah. It would be the death of me.
That's sweet.
Yeah. Yeah.
Why don't, okay, wait. I want to guess your number one.
Okay.
Tim's never been to Asia. I don't know everywhere Tim has been.
Tim actually has not been a lot of places, but he has gone to some places a lot of times. Like Paris. He's been there 3 times. I'm talking of myself in third person. Thank you, Jack Daniels.
It's also a sign of narcissistic. I'm just kidding. Tim is not. I'm probably super wrong, but wild guess, Vietnam.
Well, Vietnam is number 3, along with Cambodia and Laos.
Okay.
I think those 3 should be together.
Okay.
So I'll tell you my number 1.
Okay.
Mongolia.
Never would have guessed that.
Yeah. So why Mongolia? I am fascinated with Genghis Khan. And he was the king of the Mongols. And everything I look at, Ulaanbaatar, the capital, is a city. Everything else is not. And I am a city boy. I don't want to do all the country things.
Okay.
Right? That's why I don't go far out of Paris, because I can go to the Loire Valley. I could go to Bordeaux. I could go to Burgundy. I can go all those places. But I'm a city guy.
Okay.
I don't like going to the mountains. I don't like going to the beach, because here in North Carolina,
Okay.
because I would just soon go to a city. So
No, I get that. I get that.
But Mongolia, just everything that I see about it, it's so peaceful, and it's so remote in places that is just fascinated me. Do I love it? I don't know. I've never been, but it's fascinating to me, and it always has been. And once I saw Mont Saint Michel, then my bucket list that moved out of the way,
shifted.
because I've done it. So Mongolia for me, since I was probably in my early 20s, I'm like, man, I really would like to see that. And, the Gobi Desert and all that stuff there. I would really love to go and just see it and be in the same realm as Genghis Khan, because, yeah, he was ruthless, but at the same time, he loved his family. And he did a lot of the stuff, and his family ruled after his death for 150 years, which wasn't a long if you consider all the Caesars and stuff that was going on, but the Mongol Empire was bigger than the Roman Empire at one time. Yeah.
I know nothing about Mongolia, and I have a feeling anyone listening also knows very little about it. So this is shocking.
And maybe that is why I like it.
Yeah.
Maybe that's why it's so much up there, because I'm like, I know nothing about it.
Mm-hmm.
Other than I've done research. I've done YouTube videos. I've done other people's experiences, right? But it's just something about that really makes me want to go.
It's like uncharted territory.
It certainly is.
Yeah.
It certainly is. And, it's close enough to Russia. It's close enough to China, because that's the only 2 countries it touches, because it's encompassed by that.
I know where else you want to go.
Tell me.
Tallinn, Estonia.
Estonia
Yeah.
is on my list. Let's see, Estonia, Latvia, and Lithuania I have all together. They are very open to Americans. They are very American friendly. Plus, they are like flipping off Russia, like
Yeah.
screw you and a bunch of the horses you rode in on. And so they are actually on this list right now. Again, this is all out of the place. Number 9.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so
Okay.
Estonia, Latvia, and Lithuania, former Soviet countries that were able to get away and say piss on you.
Yeah. I know Ukraine's not really an option right now, but what is the nuclear power plant that exploded there?
Chernobyl.
Did you want to go there before?
I did not want to go. I would, but it's still so radioactive there. But would I put on a hazmat suit and go look? Yeah, probably.
Yeah, for sure. No, just
Yeah.
to say you have.
Yeah.
I mean, it is so eerie that I feel like, where else does Tim want to go? You said Moscow.
Yeah.
Well, considering nothing is wrong. I know you've been all around. How about, have you been to Dubrovnik or Split, Croatia?
No, I have not.
No. Is that on your list?
I would love to go there. It's not on this list per se.
Okay.
But the whole Montenegro, Croatia, Albania, all those things, I would love to see those things.
You know that Montenegro is said to have one of the largest cat populations in Europe. And I know that because I was trying to figure out where I want to go next. Like, I wanted to do a train trip around, but I was like, I wonder what countries other than Italy has a lot of stray cats roaming around. And Montenegro was one of the ones that popped up on my Google search.
Yeah, so that was, broken up from the Yugoslavian thing too, because it was Albania, Montenegro, Kosovo, North Macedonia, Bosnia and Herzegovina. All those were basically stuck in there together.
Thoughts on Africa? Well, Egypt we talked about, but thoughts on Africa?
So number 7 on my list is, or number 5. Let's go number 4. Number 4 is Morocco.
Oh, yeah. Okay. Monkeys.
Well, just food for me. Morocco is, because, again, huge Disney World fan, right? The World Showcase. Morocco is probably the most exotic country that they have down there for that. And I love the food there. I love the people. I love Casablanca is one of my favorite movies of all time. And it's, even though Casablanca is not the largest, it's the largest city, it's not the capital. But yeah, Morocco is number 4 on this list.
You can take a day trip to Morocco from Spain.
Yes.
I think Sevilla, if you go down to the Rock of Gibraltar. I'm not really sure. I know that you can do it. It's a very short time in Morocco.
But it's only 20-minute boat
like a ferry,
ride. Yeah, because it's very close. You can get boats through it to go into the Mediterranean, but there's not a whole lot of space.
Have you been to Spain?
I have not, but
Okay.
it's. I want to go to Spain. I want to go to Andorra. Neither one of them on this list, but I do want to go, and I want to go to Portugal.
Yeah, Lisbon I hear is really awesome.
Yeah, I want to go to Porto. I want
The
to actually
wine.
have real port wine.
Yeah. And it's beautiful. Porto is like the San Francisco. Well, wait. Is the San Francisco Bridge in Porto or in Lisbon?
I would say probably because the Porto is actually a port.
Okay.
So there's probably less than that, but Lisbon may have a bridge that goes through. Yeah.
Yeah. The only thing that I feel, okay, so the food, I don't know if I would enjoy the food as I would
In Spain?
in Lisbon or in Portugal in general, because I know there's a lot of fish. And I don't know, though. I don't know. It doesn't seem, the architecture seems really beautiful, and the castles, like I know there's day trips from Lisbon that you can go see. But as far as the food goes, I don't really know much about Portuguese food.
Well, that's all the more reason to want to go.
I
Because I
guess.
don't know that much about it either,
Oh,
but
okay,
I would
okay,
love
okay.
to, I would love to have that. But Spanish, I know I'd love to go to Spain and have a really good paella.
Yeah. And
Yeah.
the tapas and
Yeah.
patatas bravas,
Yes.
sangria, cava, the sparkling. So you haven't been to Barcelona? I would have thought you would have been to Barcelona.
That would mean I'd have to give up time in Paris.
Exactly. Well, you can go there in like a 5-hour train ride.
Yeah, I know. Yeah. Have you talked about all your places?
You know, it's hard. Okay, so I had Crete. Well, I would like to go to Kauai. Honestly, the island of Kauai. Just because it would be good hiking, aside from like the torrential downpours. But I think there's like it's like the Grand Canyon of Hawaii down there. It seems really pretty. If you like animals, like there's a lot of seals and sea turtles and stuff. I just feel like that'd be nice. But again, beaches. The idea might be better than reality for me.
Yeah.
Oh, I want to tour Auschwitz in Poland.
Okay. Yeah.
I think that'd be really fun.
Would it be fun or would it be
No, it wouldn't be fun.
Let's go see where all this horror stuff happened. No, but I know what you mean though, but it would be enlightening.
We are already canceled because of me. I apologize.
No, we are not. We are not. It'd be enlightening.
Can I tell you, I was reading my list when I said that, and I was on autopilot. But no, I went to Dachau, the concentration camp near Munich.
Okay.
And like, I actually cried during that. I mean, everyone. It's just, you can't not when you watch the videos and everything like that. And I've always, ever since I was in school, wanted to visit Auschwitz. And so, because that's the one you hear about the most when you're growing up and school and stuff. So that would be pretty interesting is the better word than fun.
Well, the experience might be fun, but it would be enlightening, I think, is what you were saying. The Maldives. I would love to do the Maldives.
Beautiful. The blue water and everything. Yeah.
Yep. Another African thing that I have on here, I have several. Madagascar.
Well, you like Disney.
I do.
Was that a Pixar or Disney?
It was Universal. That was actually DreamWorks, Madagascar.
Okay.
Kenya.
Okay.
I would like to do a safari.
Yeah.
That is non-hunting and non-dangerous.
Obviously.
Yeah. I also have from
Victoria Falls?
Victoria Falls
Yeah.
in Zimbabwe. That's number 16 on my list.
Okay.
Tanzania is number 17.
I've heard great things about that.
And this is not on my list, but Stephanie and I were doing a thing for a little while. We were called the Country Spinner. We had all 197 countries on a spinning wheel, a randomizer, and we would spin the wheel. And wherever it stopped, I would find recipes for the food and try to make that meal.
Oh, that's cool.
So one of the places that we got in Africa was Malawi. So Malawian food is very close to Zimbabwe and Tanzania. It's all those are really close. And they share a lot of stuff, all former UK or French colonies. So a lot of French influence, which does not hurt my feelings at all.
Right.
So I made some serious Malawian food. I'll need to pull up some stories for you and show that to you.
For a hot second there, when I lived in Durham, there was a restaurant that popped up in downtown and it served Ethiopian food. And I feel like that was becoming popular in a lot of regions. I've never tried it though.
I have not either, but I would love to. And we have some pop-up or something that happens here every once in a while. I need to look more into that. I'll need to look more into that. Another place that I would love to go, Liechtenstein. You can actually walk, and not that I'm looking to walk that, but you could actually walk from the north border to the south border in just a few hours.
Is that
it's
like near
that small.
Is it near Germany?
Well, it's between maybe where Austria and Italy, the top of Italy and the bottom of Austria, right under Germany, right beside, I think to the west, it's bordered by Switzerland.
Yeah.
So it's right there, but it's a very small country.
Okay.
It's one of the 4 or 5 smallest in the world.
Yeah, I don't know much. I mean, I've heard the name. I've seen it on the map, but I know nothing. I don't know anything about it.
Yeah, there are hiking trails that you can walk from the
Oh.
top to the bottom in like 4 hours.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay. Like Rhode Island.
Yeah, so it's very, very small. Let me see. What else do I have on here? I have three more that we have not talked about. China. I would love to go to China. Jordan.
One of the seven wonders, correct?
Well, I'm not sure. Jordan is too close to Israel right now.
Oh.
And there's not a whole lot of fun things happening in Israel right now. So I would again, if money and political climate and circumstances were perfect, then I would go there. But the Petra,
that's one of the wonders.
The city
That's what
of
it
Petra
is. Yeah.
is there, and stuff in Cambodia, like we talked about earlier. That's where Angkor Wat is.
Mm-hmm.
We're at the end of the first Star Wars movie, number 4, but it's the first one where the Rebel base is. That was actually filmed in Angkor Wat.
Never seen a Star Wars. Can I tell you one of my biggest social faux pas?
Yes.
Speaking of Israel, this was a couple years ago before the Gaza Strip thing happened. Oh, I was in Italy, and I'm drinking two Aperol spritzes in at this point, correct? And I'm at this bar by myself. It's aperitivo, so it's like before dinner and whatever. This guy is sitting at a different table. And he comes over and starts talking to me and wants to sit and talk to me. And he is from Israel. And he speaks like 5 different languages. And I don't. And I'm also 2 Aperol spritzes in. And this is before the war, kind of. Yes. And I don't know much about Israel other than like what we see in the news.
Mm-hmm.
So he's sitting there talking to me. Very smart person. And all I really had to talk about, I'm asking this man, like, so do you guys care about the Kardashians over there? Like, I'm being the most stereotypical American. And then I get like social anxiety where I just ask things that I probably shouldn't. And I hate this now. But I was like, so can you explain to me like what the Gaza Strip is? And he was just like, he was dying inside at that point, and he regretted his decision entirely to come talk to me. And then my nose started running. It was awful. But he sat there the entire time when I made an idiot out of myself, being completely just dumb and not knowing anything. And now look what's happening. I think about that all the time. I'm like, Amy, you are a jerk, and he deserves an apology.
Well, how old were you?
Well, this was a couple of years ago.
Okay, so you were young.
29. Should have known better.
How old are you now?
31.
Okay. So you were young, you were tipsy, you were green to the world, really.
And nervous.
And nervous.
He was obviously...
Yeah.
Yeah.
Don't beat yourself up about it, because does he even remember that? Probably
I would
not.
hope so, Tim.
Yes, I understand that.
He remembers it, but it's not.
I can't believe that girl.
He's like, I hate Americans. Yeah, no.
Yeah.
No, but anyway, back to your list of things.
Let's see. The only one I have left, Antarctica.
Okay, fair.
Yeah.
I think
and
everyone,
that would include the Chile or Argentina aspect of it, because they're both, they're the closest points to that.
Is that where Patagonia is? Where?
I think so. Patagonia. We're going to find
It's somewhere in South America.
Patagonia. It is. It is. The southern end. It's governed by Argentina and Chile, I believe. Yep. So basically, the bottom hook of South America.
Yeah, there's penguins.
The Cape of Good Hope, or whatever they call that. and the penguins.
What about Machu Picchu?
I would do that. Mexico to me is
Oh gosh, that's in Peru.
Machu Picchu.
Yeah.
That's right. I'm thinking of Chichen Itza.
I've already offended everyone, so I was
No,
like,
no, no.
okay.
No. But still, Peru,
Yeah.
Machu Picchu, maybe, but I would like to see it, but I don't know that I want to go there.
Because it's a big high, like,
It is a
and it's altitude-y.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I was thinking of Chichen Itza.
Sorry.
That's okay. No worries. But yeah, so that I have a friend, you may know him, Opie, that used to own Finnegan's.
Oh.
He went to Antarctica, and he took his butt picture there. I think he did a calendar of his butt.
I did not know this.
In all these different places. Yeah, a few years back.
That is genius.
Yeah. So it was his naked buck. So he stood out naked, and someone took his picture, and then he put it into a calendar and sold them for like $5 and gave every bit of it to local charity.
Is it still available for purchase?
I don't know.
Link in bio.
I do not know. I know that we bought one.
It's on his fridge.
Yeah.
It's in the office. No, I'm
Yeah,
kidding.
I mean, he would send us the pictures of his butt too. I'm like, well, thank you.
Yeah, what is the fascination? That's funny.
It was not a badass. I mean, just saying, I mean, I am completely straight, but it was a decent ass for a guy.
Hey, I'm sure he really appreciates the he'll take it. you know?
Yeah, absolutely. He has never had a problem with anything like that.
What
Yeah,
about,
so those are my places.
have you been to Iceland?
I have not. We had, excuse me, we had an opportunity to go there that it was to be tagged on to something else, and we did not follow through on that. So, like when we were talking about Italy last episode, and you had to cancel for the pandemic, I was supposed to spend my 50th birthday in New York City, the first time I would have ever been there. And that was November 2020.
Oh.
And so at that point, we were going to go, because I've never been to Canada. I want to go to Quebec
Ooh,
and Montreal.
Of course you would.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, so those two places we were going to start in Quebec City, or actually we're going to start, I think, Montreal, go from there to Quebec City, then take a train to New York City, and then be there for my 50th. But that did not happen. We ended up spending it in the same group that was going to go. We spent it in my yard around a campfire, socially distancing.
I'm sorry.
It's all right. It was still fun.
The pain.
Yeah.
I'm surprised you haven't been there already. But you're not worried that it would be underwhelming at this point since you've actually been to Paris?
No, because I don't expect it to be French. I expect it to be Canadian.
Okay.
And just happens to be French Canadian. Quebec is the only remaining walled city in North America.
Oh, wow.
The whole city is surrounded by a wall.
No, I did not know that.
So I want to see that, and just Montreal because Montreal, but I don't expect, like I said, I don't expect it to be French. Just French Canadian.
Right.
And I fully expect to catch that rude American vibe from them, because they are pretty much anti anybody that's not them. Even other Canadians, they just don't come here.
Well, my dad was a pilot. He mentioned kind of the attitude in Montreal and stuff like, because he flew for like a major hardware company. And so they would have to go a lot of places. And I remember as a kid him mentioning he was not looking forward to his trips there because of the attitude, which is surprising because they're so close to us,
Yeah. And Canadians in general, my experience with Canadians, I have several friends who are originally from there, are nice. Mm-hmm. But, Quebec tried to pull out of Canada and become their own thing back in the mid 80s, and that didn't work.
I didn't.
Yeah,
didn't know that.
they wanted to secede from Canada and be their own country,
Like
but
South Carolina.
yeah. But they did not succeed in that. So
Succeed at seceding.
they didn't. They failed. The succeeding was unsuccessful.
Did you do that on purpose?
No.
Oh, dang. Okay. Ugh. What? Like, okay. So I'm surprised you haven't been there. I would like to see the Canadian Rockies.
Okay. Yeah.
Like Calgary, like Banff National Park and all that stuff. That would be really pretty.
Even Vancouver, even though it's on the other side of the Rockies, but still, here's my thing. What we will find out about Tim and mostly Stephanie too. There are few things in this country that I care to see. I don't care to go to Alaska. There's nothing there that makes me go, ooh, Alaska.
Well, you're a city person. You said you were a city person.
Yeah.
So,
but if I had a chance to go to Canada on that side of the country, I would do it.
Yeah.
Maybe Seattle. I would like to see Seattle. I've not been there. Portland, maybe. I've never been to California. Maybe that. I have no interest at all in Las Vegas. I don't care. I don't care anything about the Grand Canyon.
I'm horrified.
Why is that?
Las Vegas?
Yeah.
Tim hasn't been to Las Vegas.
No. My sister has. I have no interest in it whatsoever.
It's the rite of an American passage to
Maybe.
go to Las Vegas. There's a stay at the Paris hotel. You can eat dinner on the Eiffel Tower. Have a nice what's it called when it's like Gordon Ramsay, they put this beef Wellington. Have a nice beef Wellington on the Eiffel Tower in Las Vegas.
Yeah. No, I'm gonna pass on that. I am fascinated, and I do like New England.
Okay.
I like that Northeast vibe.
The witch trials.
Yeah, and stuff like that. And I want to go to Vermont. I want to go to Maine. I want to go to New Hampshire. I've been to Boston. Love Boston. I've been to New York now. Love New York. Love it. Getting out of it sucks, and I think we've talked about that, or we will. The Philadelphia area, it's not New England, but that colonial stuff, the history behind that, going to like Valley Forge and stuff like that, you're like, okay, that's awesome, right? Gettysburg, stuff like that.
Oh yeah, that would be.
So we may be going back to Chicago in June. Stephanie's work, she works for Ronald McDonald House.
Okay.
And so their national convention is happening in June.
Okay.
And the last time we went she worked for Second Harvest Food Bank, which is part of the Feeding America network, and they are based in Chicago. So we had most of the expenses for at least the first little bit paid for. And we were in a nice hotel. We had a corner. I'm not talking about like the corner that's 90-degree perpendicular. This was a pointed corner right on the Chicago River.
Do you remember which hotel it was?
The Sofitel.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it was amazing. But we may go back, and if she doesn't have to go there, we're going to a record label party because,
well, that's cool.
Full disclosure, I also own a radio station, right? And we're trying to, it's the same weekend as this. So if she has to go to work, we're going to Chicago. If not, we're going to Merge Records out of Chapel Hill, Durham, to their festival. So
that's fun.
Yeah. So one or the other we're going to do, but New York was great, but there's just not a whole lot of things in this country that I care about because this is our history. We already know this. I want to experience other people's history. That's just how we travel. That's how I am intrigued. But we've gone through these bucket list things. I want to offer something to you, Amy.
Okay.
There is a website called randomstreetview.com.
You know I love Google Maps.
So it is exactly what it is. So you type in randomstreetview.com and it drops you somewhere in the world.
Oh, that's cool.
You don't know where it is, but you can obviously, it'll be on a street somewhere. It could be a side street. It could be an alley. It could be whatever. Could be in Cambodia. It could be in Mongolia. It could be in Uzbekistan.
Tim would only get so lucky.
Yeah. It could be in Paris. It could be wherever. You don't know. You're just dropped there.
That's cool.
And then using Google Maps, you can maneuver and find your way around stuff.
It's a great way of escapism.
It is.
Escaping your, it's just a good way to get out of your head, I guess.
Yeah. So it's called randomstreetview.com.
Okay.
And it just drops you anywhere around the world. And if you don't like that, hit refresh and it takes you somewhere else.
It's like Omegle, but for Street View. You know what Omegle is?
No.
Oh, I don't know if it's around anymore, but it's kind of an awful idea because kids get on it. But it's basically like that, but for webcams and people.
Okay.
So you just get matched with random strangers throughout the world and you don't know what's going to pop up on your screen. And I don't know if it's still a thing, but that's what it sounds like.
Well, it says here that it was a free web-based online chat service.
Okay.
So I don't think it's there anymore.
Yeah. Speaking of Google Maps Street View, I'll never forget one time I was just browsing the streets of Capitol Hill in Denver. And I saw someone walking their dog, and the snapshot captured by the Street View was the dog mid going to the bathroom. So it was squatting in the grass, and the turd was hanging out of its butt. And that was the best thing I'd ever seen in my life.
Yeah, it's like whoever was doing that did not take time to edit that.
No.
Because, can you imagine how much time it takes to put those things together?
I wonder how much the Google Maps Street View car drivers make.
I don't know. Because
Maybe we should do that for a living.
We could. We should do it for at least a time to see what it's like.
Yeah, like carpool karaoke, but the podcast.
Yeah. We're now going 20 miles per hour in this 55 zone so we can get this. Yeah.
Or like storm chasers.
Yeah.
Tim and Amy chase tornadoes for an episode.
Let's do it.
Okay.
Yeah, it's travel, right? We're traveling. I'm sure we'll eat something.
I'm sure we'll travel somewhere.
Yeah.
By the tornado. Yeah, no, that was really funny though. The dog. I'll never forget that. I wish I had screenshotted that.
Have you gone back to look again, or do you know where it was?
It was somewhere in Denver. I think I was in the Capitol Hill neighborhood. I don't know how, but I do. And yeah, no, it was a one-time anomaly.
So it's a wonder. I've not looked to see, and I'm sure of all the stuff that's happening. One thing that is very popular, not popular as in good, but it happens a lot in Paris, is people peeing on the walls.
Oh, wait, do you see them in action?
Oh, yeah.
What?
So the first time we were there, or was it the second time? It was the second time. It was our honeymoon. Oui, on the oui. The Jardin de Tio. We were on one of those double-decker buses.
Oh, cool. Okay.
And the funny thing about that is the roads in the middle of Paris are only 4 lanes wide, but cars are usually 6 to 8 cars wide, and people are just passing, and the people on the scooters and stuff just come through cars.
Hello.
Yeah, they are encouraged in driver's ed to go around cars.
I mean, you gotta go where you gotta
anyway,
go.
there was a guy who's standing at the gates of the Jardin de Toulouse, I think is what it's called, the tiles garden. Right, the same connection to the Louvre and all that stuff. We were on this bus looking over, and here was a guy in a dress shirt and slacks and dress shoes, standing up against the wall with his hand there, and his other hand was doing what he needed to do, and then he just turned around and buckled his pants up and tucked his shirt back in. He was with a tie and
just
everything.
Just a normal Tuesday.
Just a normal, yeah, exactly. He was just letting it fly.
Wow.
Yeah.
It's such a beautiful city. And then,
I mean, if you got to go, you got to go. But
No,
they don't,
yeah.
they don't, I mean, there was cops sitting around and did nothing. I mean, what are you going to do?
well, I'm not going to say I haven't seen a questionable pile of feces in Rome. Like, I'm pretty sure when I was walking around the like Jewish ghetto area of Rome, like the old Jewish neighborhoods where they call it like the Jewish ghetto.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure there was a pile of feces on the road that didn't look like a dog. And also, when I was in Matera, there was a puddle I stepped in, and I don't know if it was a human or a cat that decided to do their business in that puddle. But I was walking around town, and it's these boots, actually. I'm wearing the same boots today. I was walking around town, and I started smelling something. I'm like, that's odd. Like, why does it smell like poop everywhere? And then I sit down at this cafe, and I'm eating bruschetta. And I'm like, it's me. And so I looked down, and like when I got back to the Airbnb, it took me so long to get this poop. I don't know what animal or human it was, but I will never again step in a puddle in Italy.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, and you have to think too, bodily functions, we have in this country, we have some weird aversion to it. Like none of us do it. But of course we do.
Right. No,
We
it
all
is taboo,
do.
yeah.
Yeah. And this is going to be completely off in the weeds,
No.
right? This is what happens.
We
with
love
you.
this.
So when you're sitting at a table with a bunch of people or two people and you got to pee, I got to pee.
Yeah.
Okay, let's stop and let's do that. But what would happen? I've got to poop. No one wants to talk about that.
No, it's true.
And why? Because it's normal.
And it's an
we all
emergency.
do it, and especially if it's an emergency. But why is it so taboo to talk about?
That's a good question. I don't want to tell it. Never mind. No, I'll tell it. Okay, so I had a boyfriend in high school, and his world was rocked. Like, we were 16.
Yeah.
And he had just left my house, and I could not wait for him to leave because it was an emergency for me.
Yeah.
And so he called me in the midst when I'm in the bathroom, and I didn't answer. And so I call him back, and he's like, what happened? And I'm like, what do you mean? He's like, I just left. Like, why didn't you answer the phone? And I was like, I don't know. Like, I was just, And he goes, were you like in the bathroom? And I was like, maybe. His world came crashing down. I think he cried a little bit because he was like, he's like, I didn't really realize girls did. Like, he legitimately did not understand that girls did that. But, he was still with me after that. It was fine.
Yeah. Well, this is going to be weird, but I actually like when a girl can talk about it. And I don't want to watch it. I don't want to, witness it. But that when you can have that conversation, I won't say it's a turn on because it's certainly not.
This is a whole new conversation.
No. Yeah,
I'm kidding.
But I'm not talking about sexually or anything like that. It's just there's like a freedom.
Yeah.
That you're like,
this is who I am.
Because we all do it.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's like, passing gas and stuff like that. Nobody wants to talk about it. And if somebody
Right.
does, we do it.
Mm-hmm.
And somebody does say, oh my God, they actually farted or something. And I'm like, come on.
Normalize taking a dump.
Exactly. It was that commercial, I think we all know women poop. But, there's a commercial about that on
that
TV.
and like vaginal mesh.
Yes.
Whatever that is.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, is it like a catcher's mitt? What is happening here? I don't know what it is.
A trampoline park? Sorry, that was too far.
We've had some rum and coke and other beverages, and I like it.
It works.
It
works.
It does. I mean, again, these are naturally occurring things. And because we talk about travel on this thing, in Costa Rica, have you been to Costa Rica?
No.
So in Costa Rica, they do not want you to flush toilet paper. So even in the cities, which using cities in Costa Rica is kind of a misnomer. It's just large villages, basically, towns or whatever.
A conglomeration of huts.
Yeah, yeah. So, I mean, they had buildings.
I'm sorry.
But you're right. I mean, it's like Kernersville. Other than San Jose, everything down there is like Clemens or Kernersville. You know, it's a small town like that. But you obviously you have to go.
Mm-hmm.
But when you use the toilet paper, you have to put it in a trash can. And we were in a house with 6 people.
No. See, I don't know if I could do that.
Yeah, see, and that's one of the reasons when we get to places that I don't care to go back to, we'll talk about that.
I can't wait.
But so I mean, we had to deal with, if it's just my wife and me, that's one thing. We are used to each other's bodily functions. But with 4 other people, so every day, someone, we had to take turns because it wasn't fair for one of us to always do it, had to empty that trash.
That's awful. Awful.
Yeah. And, Costa Rican food is Latin food.
And you're not used to it.
And we're not used to it, and it's a lot of spiciness and stuff like that. So it happened.
Yeah, that's a little too far. I mean, I know in Greece, that's one deterrent of me because I've heard that in Greece, some places they don't want you to do that. And I'm just like, I feel bad for the housekeeper of the hotel that would have to do that. It's just a little bit invasive for me. I don't know. That's why I'm not like the best traveler because I have limits. I'm very particular about. This is funny, and I'm going to go here. When I'm booking a hotel or an Airbnb, the most important thing is what does the bathroom look like? If it's a rustic bathroom, I'm not booking it.
Yeah.
I need a modern, pristine shower and toilet. I need it to look like a beach house in Malibu type of white,
Right.
everything.
Yeah.
I can't go with like an old antique toilet.
Yeah.
Because those toilets that your grandparents had
Yes.
with the padded.
Yes.
And they would rip, and so you'd be sitting there peeing, and there'd be this sharp piece of
on the back of your leg. Yes. Oh yeah.
It's awful.
Or here's one for you.
It's warm.
For men, we only sit down when one thing's happening.
Right.
Usually, my mother had for her one of hers a wooden seat,
Splitter.
and it split, and I would sit down, and it would pinch me in places that it should not pinch.
Yeah, things get caught.
Yeah.
Snagged.
Yes. And that is the worst.
I can imagine. I've never had a splinter from a toilet seat. I've never.
Well, this wasn't splinter. It was just split, and it was
crevasse.
It pinched.
That's awful.
Yeah.
No, very particular about toilets. And how do you feel about bidets?
I have never experienced one, but I would love to try one.
I think it's more sanitary than toilet paper because if you think about it, bidets are washing stuff off. Toilet paper, I heard this on a podcast and I'll never forget it, and it's changed the way I view. They were like, you're essentially smearing stuff around.
It is exactly. You're basically just smudging it. You're not taking care of it.
So gross.
But it is. But again, it's human behavior.
I'm never gonna get a boyfriend from this.
But I don't know. Maybe people are like, I like her. She's all about what she is.
Like me for me, not my toilet talk.
Or both. But the thing is, with the bidet, and I've been in France a lot and not experienced the bidet. When I've been very disappointed in that. You can get them for here, and you can get attachments
from
that actually,
Amazon.
Yeah, attachments that just go on there, and then they start spraying you.
One of my friends has those.
I'm like, how would I feel about that?
Yeah.
And would I want to get off of it?
Oh my gosh.
I had a girl actually says, I don't think I would get off the bidet. I'm like,
Lord.
okay, what are you doing?
I mean, that's
with the
kind of
bidet?
funny.
Yeah.
Do you remember that SNL skit with Zach Galifianakis? And it was like, and the bidet. Like, they were going through looking at either a hotel or a house, and all they cared about was the bidet. It was the funniest as it was. I'm surprised you haven't. No, Zach Galifianakis, I'm pretty sure, was part of that skit.
Yeah.
Funny. Look
and
it
he's
up.
from Asheville or Wilkesboro.
Yeah.
He's from Wilkesboro, actually.
My stomping grounds. Yeah.
So again, it's not been anywhere that I've been in France, and I have looked to see, reviews of stuff, because, if somebody comes across that, especially Americans, they're going, well, there's a bidet or a bidet, as some of them would call, because dumb. But I would really like to try one. I would like to really see what it's like. And it would be awkward at first because, how do you know? How do you know you're done?
Yeah, that's true. And there's a towel. They typically have a bidet towel as well, like
Okay.
hotels. So it's a separate towel. I don't know. I've had plenty, because in Italy there's bidets everywhere. Like all of the Airbnbs I've stayed at, but I've never actually experimented with a bidet.
Yeah.
Because I just don't have time for it. Like, I'm not there. I'm there for a good time, not a long time.
Right.
So that's just a commitment. I don't have the capacity to learn how to use a bidet on this trip. Sorry.
Right.
I have horse to eat.
Amen, sister. I dig it. Well, is there any other places you can think of off the top of your head that you would like to go that we didn't talk about?
No, Olive Garden.
Are you a fan of Olive Garden?
I love Olive Garden. But I've been there many times.
Yeah, I can't eat at Olive Garden. I say I can't, and really I can't eat at Olive Garden. There's too much sodium.
Oh.
And I have to watch that.
Okay.
So if I'm going to have Italian, I'm going to Delicios because Tony is my amico.
I used to live right across. I never went there, but it was packed every weekend. I would see,
Still is.
I've never been, and I know you need to make a reservation. So,
Well, you can go with Pavarotti.
Okay.
So that's what Tony calls me, Pavarotti, because I'm fat and I sing to him. I'm like, Tony Delicio, amico mio.
That
when I
was
go in there,
amazing.
I go in the kitchen and sing that to him.
Tim, you need to be a gondolier.
I would do it. I think I would do it.
Mm-hmm.
I actually, I pick him up because he's like your size, and I'll swing him. His legs are just dangling around. One time, this is funny, and we'll get out of here. One time, he tried to pick me up. And if you can imagine someone your size, maybe a little bit bigger, trying to pick me up, I heard, I said, Tony, you're going to drop a nut. Stop it right now. He says, Pavarotti, I can't do it. I said, well, don't.
Well, obviously.
Yeah.
The size difference is,
Yeah, stop it. I don't want to hurt you, man.
You don't have to prove anything to anyone.
But, he's from Naples, and he makes his grandma's recipes in that restaurant.
We need to chat with him.
Yes. I'm sure I could get him here.
Please.
Yeah. And his wife, Maria. So, yeah, it's Tony and Maria. So that's not lost on us, the whole Weston story thing.
I want to pick. Oh. See, I didn't make that connection.
Yeah.
I do want to pick his brain.
Okay. Yeah. And I know another person that the BLL Rotisserie Factory over on Hawthorne.
Okay.
He is from Naples as well. Yeah.
Okay, well.
Ciro, Simone.
Okay.
Simone, yeah.
We need all of these people on the podcast
Yeah.
ASAP.
Yeah, Ciro is Maria's dad.
Okay.
Yeah. So, yes. So let's make a plan to have some Delicios, or at least go there
Yeah.
to see him and talk with him. Yeah.
No, I'm down.
Well, the Penne et Pain podcast is part of the Less Desirables podcast network, where you can listen to our podcast as well as the Less Desirables, Fan Interference, The Man Away to Town, Beeswax File Daily, Wheeler's Dog, the Asylum podcast, I Remember Now, the Queen's Right podcast, and Health Geeks Book Club. You can listen to our podcast on our website or any podcatcher of your choice, like Apple Podcasts or Spotify. Basically, anywhere you find podcasts. There's a lot of podcasts in that. And, of course, on the Less Desirables Network page, which is tldpodnetwork.com. Find out all you need to know about those shows, all the network shows, tldpodnetwork.com. If you have something to say to us, you can send an email to Tim or Amy at peppodcast.com, peppodcast.com. Look us up on our social channels, or if you want to be really cool, really cool, call and leave a voicemail at 336-422-6862.
Have you peed on a wall in Paris? Let us know.
Let us know. Have you used a bidet? Did you find it difficult to stop?
Would you recommend?
The struggle may be real, and we just don't know. We will play your voicemail on the air. So, my name's Tim.
I'm Amy.
And until next time.
Ciao. The views and opinions stated on this podcast are solely those of the contributors, so if you don't like it, that's too bad. This podcast is copyrighted and cannot be used without the express written consent of such and such media.
We done told you.